angelic beings of the Order of Zadkiil, come procession here, that these fiery spirits might know the emanation, auric, of the seventh ray, for the rite of purification must now be made known to the light bearers in the outer court of the earth. Thus, beloved, I address you, and I summon from my retreat angels bearing flames of fire. Seventh ray fire qualification, for these angels, beloved, are also adepts in the control of natural forces and in the alchemy of the beings of fire, air, water, and earth. These angels come then, their auras scintillating with amethyst light. They come walking then in the footsteps of our priesthood. They place their feet in honor of the ancient one who did come from distant star, that Melchizedek whose name yet today draws those who have known him of yore into the proximity of the mind of God. For the name itself bespeaks the ancient priesthood of our order and of golden ages, when those of this calling did keep the flame of freedom. Freedom as a light to instill the blossoming of purpose in those serving the seven rays and the five secret rays. The role of the priesthood, beloved, is to tend the flame of life at the altar of temple and home and heart. The calling of the priesthood is to never let go or go out the flame of life. First and foremost, the flame must be kept by these committed ones on behalf of the planetary and solar evolutions. The priesthood are keepers of the flame on behalf of those souls evolving on various rungs of the ladder of life, extending the grace and the mercy and the ritual of the seventh ray, that they might find their own God mastery petal by petal. Thus the priest of the Order of Melchizedek is also self-effacing. His motto, "He must increase, but I must decrease." The meaning of this statement made by John the Baptist is that the priest cedes his place to the one who comes after him, and he thereby ascends another level vibrationally. Therefore, he does decree that the one who is capable of receiving his torch that is passed must increase in that position. and he who does go on must decrease at that level, even as he too shall increase at the next level. And thus the words are spoken by the grand chain of hierarchy of this order of priesthood, and this ascent of angels and sons and daughters of God, and even the beings of the four elements who have graduated to this level of awareness and initiation, do exert a pressure on the entire mystical body of God to come up higher and to bear the responsibilities of the stairs of the degrees. The flame of life then is kept at every level of initiation. I will not tell you the number of the steps, save that the 9 is the key. The 9 has factors of multiplication, beloved, and therefore you alone can discover what is the multiplication of that figure that will bring thee to thine own internalization of the word. Invincible light, O thou invincible light, rise now upon this altar, gather unto thyself all that has been released in this place by the archangels who have gone before. Take now, O thou flame, and store in the retreat of Zadkiil all light released, all emanations, and let all who would drink again of this fount of knowledge call then, and be taken to Zadkiil's retreat, that it might be unto each one that the spiral of this retreat may be internalized again and again out of the flame. You see, beloved, it is not lawful that we leave light invoked in a place of mundane activity. Therefore, the angels of my bands surround you now for the sealing of the 7 initiations, of the healing of the electromagnetic field which you have been blessed to experience in this retreat. This room has become a vessel apart from its point in time and space, and you yourselves suspended in the auras of archangels have known and touched other worlds. With the sealing of the electromagnetic field in this hour, the light you are able to possess and retain by your own Christ mastery is unto you in your form and chakras. That of which you as yet have not the mastery is sealed in your holy Christ self, and that which is not allowed is waiting for thee in the flame that burns on the altar in the etheric octave of my retreat. Beloved who love the light, we, the 7 archangels, serve all who love and serve the light. Therefore we come, emissaries of the central sun, to draw you then into the understanding of the ritual of the atom, and yourself becoming the Atman, and yourself also revolving around the great central sun, and by the rhythm of the spheres internalizing the word. The first initiation of one who would enter into the training under Melchizedek, myself, Holy Amethyst, the Lord Jesus Christ, and Saint Germain, Zarathustra, and Gautama Buddha, and others whose names are not known. This must be then the agreement and the expressed desire to retain only that which thou hast by one's own self-mastery and attainment. This vow is given and accepted, for there is profound wisdom in it. You see many souls pass through many lifetimes, surrounded with the things of this world, thereby suffering from the delusion that somehow these things increase one's own stature and inner reality. But at the passing of so-called death, there comes a brief moment of realization that the soul who has not acquired by inner attainment may take nothing with him. Therefore, the soul stands naked and must find a thread of contact to pursue that which he has eluded. It is the mighty work of the ages. Beloved ones, this is why it has been common for members of the orders of priests and monks and devotees to divest themselves of ownership of things of this world, to retain only that which is necessary to their service, and even that not as ownership, but as use. So it is the desire of this heart and many hearts. In this understanding, beloved, one may clearly see oneself in the role of priest or priestesses, of being the steward of the abundant life on behalf of others. This is a gift of the 7th ray, and it conveys the essential reality which is taught by the beloved great divine director. To know that I am real where I am, to know that all that I am is real, and to know that all that is unreal is no part of my real self. This is the beginning of wisdom and mastery. Come then, beloved, take up these studies. For many who receive the disciplines of our retreat do so, that they might serve better in many fields of life, not connected officially with the priesthood of Melchizedek. Our stepping stones to the joy of freedom's own God mastery will suit you well as a basic classical education on the path. Thus there will come a day when you arrive at the place where only those who are initiates of the Order of Lord Zadkiil may continue the course. Those who come to this place will be well equipped with both fundamental and advanced teachings in the alchemy of spirit and matter, the control of natural forces, and above all, the God control of oneself as a spiritual being in form, expanding auric emanations to hold the light of life for all. Now then, beloved, going forth from our retreat with this training, whether with the mantle of priest or not, those who become adepts of the seventh ray are above all most physically concerned with the outcome of world conditions that day by day are being outplayed. The seventh ray is the highest of the spectrum of light, and its polarity is the most physical. I do not say the most dense, but I say the most physical, corresponding with physical matter, interpenetrating the wide open spaces of matter, molecule, and endowing matter with the spirit that does give to it resiliency and adaptability in many planes. Thus, beloved, you can translate now how this flame of the priesthood is well suited to those who do become responsible in fields of government, the economy, culture, the arts, education, and science. It is well to understand then that those who have true spiritual attainment do not shrink from the earthly scene. They may ascend to the mountain of God, but they always return to the valley to minister to life and to defend innocent life against those of the false priesthood. For there is a false hierarchy that has attempted to imitate the path of the priesthood of Melchizedek. These brothers of the shadow on the left-handed path did misuse the science of alchemy to the utter destruction and ultimately the sinking of the continent of Atlantis. Think of the realism of this sequence. Those who come to the altar to take the science of God and then use it against humanity. But is this so strange? Is it not also true today that scientists have come, others have taken their inventions and their secrets only to hold weapons of war as threat over the nations? I speak then of a false hierarchy opposing the light of the word of the seventh ray on earth. These are not only engaged in the misuse of the alchemy of the atom, but they are in every field, for the flame of freedom goes far. Therefore, false hierarchs, impostors of our order, do function to tear down in the governments of most nations, to move against the souls of the people, indeed, by ill-gotten gains, to control, not for the purpose of liberty, though they sing the songs of liberty, not for freedom, but for another round of world enslavement. Beloved, the path of the 7 rays, under the Chohans thereof and the archangels, brings every disciple to the point of the why. The choice is to be or not to be in God, the full manifestation of the light, to His glory and to the service of all life. Or the choice to be in the light of God, to the vain glory of the ego, to the subjugation of life to oneself, and to the control by the lower nature instead of the higher. Thus the left-handed path is the path of the black magicians and the seed of the satans, and the right-handed path is the path of those who are the white magicians, who are of the seed of Christ. Let it be known then that all who sow in destruction out of the light taken from the altar of God will reap every jot and tittle of the law they have abused, and therefore there shall come unto them the full karmic weight of their misuse of the sacred fire. The law does return full circle, beloved ones, to those on the left-handed path, their transgressions. But you have heard the saying that the wheels of the gods grind slowly. In the meantime, innocent life as well as ignorant life, and there is a difference, may suffer great injury and loss. Planets and systems may be compromised in their ecosystem. Now come the priests and the priestesses of the Order of Melchizedek. Now come those who are the keepers of the flame of Saint Germain and the sons and daughters of God, inserting then the intercession of Christ on behalf of these little ones who suffer atrocities at the hand of the false priests. And there are atrocities against the mind and the soul as well as the body. The embodied sons and daughters of God, pursuing the path of discipleship unto Christ realization in the 7 rays, may therefore call for the accelerated return of the karma of the fallen ones, that which they have sent forth not injure life, but return directly upon their own heads. This judgment call of the Lord Christ requires the mediator or the intercessor. Thus, beloved, there is given to you, they shall not pass. This fiat has profound meaning, for it is spoken directly and specifically to this false hierarchy. They shall not pass, therefore, over the line that is drawn by the light bearers to the injury of the innocent. This is a fiat which you can make lawfully, submitting always to the Christ, the office of judge, and yourself only as instrument of the divine decree. By the same token, you may raise your hand and demand the reversing of the tide of those sorts of things that came in the last days of Atlantis and were not stopped, and therefore ultimate cataclysm ensued, and there was a great loss in the continuity of the evolution of life. Very few today remember that they were there when Atlantis sank, that they saw and knew the infamy of the fallen ones. Thus, these dropped stitches in the memory must be picked up again. Therefore, you may raise the right hand and say, reverse the tide, O God. Let the tide of infamy of the dark ones who have misused the energy of the atom of God and caused this reign of harmful substance on the earth, let it be reversed, let it be turned back, let their darkness be upon their own heads, and let innocent life be spared. Beloved, you may choose to give this call or not to give this call. I ask you to consider and to meditate profoundly upon the meaning of this, our priesthood. The priest is the protector of the people. He stands therefore at the altar of the Holy of Holies. For his dedication, he is able to absorb a greater light, and therefore in the blessing of the communion to be the instrument through which there does pass the light emanation of the Alpha, the Omega, the body and blood of the Lord, the spirit matter. Likewise, the office of priest, containing then this light, may deflect from the innocent and send back to the guilty their unlawful deeds and malicious intents. You must consider then, for the aura itself of one who walks as a keeper of the flame serves in this function, and because you have so agreed by free will at inner levels, our angels often use your auras to send protection to life and to quarantine those who are spewing out at a phenomenal rate darkness across the face of the earth. This darkness comes so disguised as to appear as light, and baubles and trinkets that glow but have no inner sun are preferred then by those who have not seen the light of day, nor the day star from on high. These two calls that are given to you, the call of the judgment before it is too late, before the destruction falls from the skies, and the reversing of the tide is always adjudicated by the universal Christ and the will of God, for this is ever the commitment of the priest of the Order of Melchizedek, and the one who is keeping the flame unto the hour of that attainment. Thus God may reduce or increase the light of your invocation. Unto him and him alone is assigned the justice in the matter. I bid you then commune in your hearts and discover then the key to acting for and on behalf of a humanity and of a planetary body suffering great distress. May you see fit to insert yourself in those situations most requiring an electrode to hold the balance of forces of darkness by the perpetual release of light. To this end we have given to you the vision of the chakras as open portals of purity, whereby the light of God may pass through and the light itself go forth on a rescue mission, and whereby the light may be taken in. So, beloved, I seal you now in the yin and the yang of the creation. O holy angels, spin now these auras, make them blazing suns unto God. I, Zadkiil, decree it, and I look forward to receiving you again when we shall take up anew our discussion of this path and calling. O Melchizedek, come now, present thyself, that the soul at inner level might see and know thee as thou art, and aspire to the greatness of God. For only God is great in man. Let illumination's flame continue to impart my word to the sincere seeker who is capable of receiving the sacred mysteries.